like meeting facilities. But if you've ever been to Las Vegas, you know you can't get to your room, to the elevators, you can't check in without walking through a labyrinth of walkways that go through the casinos. And the guys who run these places. I was always intrigued by watching the gamblers and some of the superstitions, the things that they would do for luck. And I learned, I'm always looking at the floor. Because for some gamblers, they believe it's bad luck about money. Yeah. You just leave it there. Well, I had a couple states. I watched people gamble like black. When the night in their dream melts, they get up and leave. Bad luck. Which is why some casinos will bring you free drinks. You've probably all seen videos of people in movies, crack tables. They blow on dice before they roll the dice. Do these things, they call it for luck. Really just being superstitious. And we can shake our head at what people do or don't do in casinos. But the fact is, these people believe this is how things work. And to people who believe this is how things work, it is. Some people will not leave their house unless they're wearing a certain or necklace. Religion, including Christianity, wearing your will protect that individual or bring them good luck or good fortune. Where they were protected from some misfortune because they were wearing their lucky crucifix. Trying to convince a person to let go of a superstition is very difficult. Because first, they don't really see it as a superstition. In their mind, they say, it's how things work. Because of that, people become stuck in life because they think things work a certain way. I share this observation because it's the dynamic, it's the context Jesus is confronted with this story from our scripture reading. The man in today's scripture reading is stuck. And he's stuck because of firm belief of how he believes his work. He's hoping he gets lucky. His mind, he's stuck in the belief that God heals in the right place, and he happens to be first in line. Case after the pool ripples. And to illustrate the degree of futility in this person's belief, the Apostle John gives a rare detail. We're told that this man had been waiting for 38 years. Now, this is an unusual detail. You don't see that kind of detail writers use. They rarely concern themselves with numbers. They always talk in vague references. Read your Gospels. They'll use terms like after some time, or like it said here in verse 1, when we read at some time later. Very ambiguous, very vague references. They don't make statements like after 3 months, following Tuesday, Jesus, they don't do things like that. Many people want to try and find or attach some hidden meaning to the number 38. No hidden meaning here. God is giving this detail of 38 years to illustrate the problem the person had. Stuff. There's more context. Average lifespan, according to information we have in Greco-Roman literature, period about 2,000 years ago, of Jesus, average lifespan, 40 years. It was so low because of the high infant mortality rate. But it's an interesting context because this man has been stuck for as long, longer than most people live. For 38 years, he's been stuck. For 38 years, this man has been sitting on his that's a long time. Sits on his mat, pays the sink. Waits and watches water in the pool to be stirred up. By the way, biblical archaeologists have discovered that the reason the pool would be stirred is because it's fed by underground springs. When there would be a surge in the water flow, there's no logic to this guy. He just hopes he gets superstition. Yeah. Part of the problem with this man is that he's chained with superstitions. That's one problem. There's another problem that he's demonstrating, and a problem that perhaps Paul suffered from, and other people suffering from now. The problem of being unwilling to move, change, or to take an action. We make a lot of internal decisions to do something. As soon as this happens, here's the problem. Fine line between wisdom, knowing when to act, foolishness, is repeating what we've done over and over. My life we're always faced with decisions that unlock, or we can choose to stay where we are. We can hope that someday, pretty soon maybe, we wait long enough, this will be just right. And move. Then we can proceed. But they never seem to. Being stuck is a condition where there is no movement to be in that condition will repeat behaviors, patterns, then wonder why nothing is changing for us. That note, Albert Einstein, definition of it, the same thing over, expecting a different. But our path of upbringing, what's happened to me, we identify more with our wounds, grief, losses, not those things. We are. But here, people frequently choose to remain where they are. They feel sick. We convince ourselves that other people or circumstances that are around us, that's why I'm stuck. If they would just change, it'd be better for me. This is a condition of a man at the pool. He's stuck in a mold, way of life, defined by his situation, his condition, and he's unable to imagine any other way out of where he's at. In that frame of mind, it's up to him. You want to be healed. I want to look at the question. Look at the question that Jesus asked. I find that most people react inquisitively. Oh, what do you think he wants? If we study the gospel, we'll see that Jesus frequently he calls these questions of Jesus. He already knows the answer. He wants to hear what comes out of the heart, not of the So Jesus will ask them along the line of, where do you want me to do this? And he'll wait for a response. The words of the crippled man get an insight where his heart's at. Jesus asked if he wanted to be healed. Man doesn't give an answer. He doesn't say, yes, I want to be healed. He responds to the question with in verse 7, sir, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me. Earlier, people can fall into a trap in their condition, result of other people's behavior. Basically saying, I'm stuck in this condition because of what other people are doing or not doing. If they would just change, I'd be all right. It's always someone else's fault. Victim. No accountability, no taking charge. I mentioned that one of the problems plaguing this man is that he's also stuck in his looked at that part, stuck because perpetually behavioral over. We often miss the element of superstition that Scripture brings out. Verse 4 says, an angel would stir the water. If you look at the Bible, pick which Bible, pick any one, it will note. Look at this verse. We'll also have footnotes. It was later. Any Bible will have a footnote. It does not appear in the earlier Greek manuscripts, apparently added by an unknown person later on. How it found its way into the King James Version. In the King James Version, they didn't have access to older manuscripts. But if you stop and think about it, read things, and then think things through. What does the Bible say in the big picture? Superstitious beliefs. Does God require that in order for him to act, for him to impact our life, we have to be in the right place? And that Jesus heals, believe God's favor is a byproduct. He can just be the first one in the water, he believes God will heal him. Relationship with God should the byproduct of trust. More specifically, when we love God's love for us, love that according to Scripture, not related to things that we do. Tells us what be in the right place. Scripture, God condemns superstitious practice. If you read the Old Testament, as ancient Israel, God condemns them. That was the context for nations. Whoever studied primary characteristics of Baal worship believed that one could curry the favor of gods. One followed certain actions or certain behaviors. Basis for superstition. One believes that we get something if we perform a certain ritual, get some sort of desired reward. It's not Christianity. We fall into it. This is why God condemns it. God is not a God Our God is not a God who gives you favor because of you. Problem with superstitious fall into. And it also gives us the false control that we have through this week. Very different than putting our trust in God. Provides us with comfort, peace, confidence that He's always watching over us. He's always giving us the guidance that we seek. The comfort, not based on superstition, based on love. Man at the pool, gamblers in the casinos, trapped in the belief. Bring them good. Jesus reached out and He unlocked potential who had been stuck 38 years, basically doing nothing. And he was healed certainly in a way that he wasn't expecting to be healed. To be healed. No. He was waiting for the behavior of people around him to change so that he could be healed. The sense of help. Into that helplessness expressed by God, Jesus inserted Himself. A lot of lessons in this. One of them is allow Him. God can lift us up. Mind we might be in. As we walk our Christian journey, it's very easy to fall into a condition of being stuck, waiting for the right things to occur. Make sure God's love manifests. It should. And at the pool, experience them. Another lesson is that with God, Jesus did. Step into our life. We least expect. Take control. Extend to us His hand. And it brings not worry and anxiety. There's nothing worry and anxiety. This man for 30 anxiety. And if it moved, worry. Get in there. Always waiting for me. Well, in John's gospel later on, he reports Jesus' disciples are filled with anxiety and worry. That's rolled it around them. And he tells them in chapter 14, verse 1, he tells them, do not let your heart trust also in me. Those are powerful words. I observe that they're trust involves doing something that we don't. It's easier to worry about what others are doing. It's easier to worry about how our life is being impacted. His will be done. That's our calling. We need to be reminded. Calling is to trust in God. People speak. What other people say they're going to do for us. Do something for yourself. Trust in God. Finally, always opening ourselves trusting in God brings hope in the long run. God does not operate. God does not operate. You don't like that. Jesus taught us to pray, thy will be done. It would just change, I get my way. But look to God to lead us as we walk in our There's trust. Confidence in one that is the source of. Unless it is embodied, words that we too. Pick up with that. We walk